Hello, I'm Mark Baer. This is the YourTown television program. My guest, Shelby Hawthorne, and a glass artist. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, your family has the Hawthorne Gallery in Big Sur. You've grown up in art. You've been weaned in art. But what's it like being a second generation artist?
It was just kind of in my blood. I never really thought of it as a question until I got to college, and I realized how different and weird it was that everyone in my family was an artist. But growing up, it was just all the support, and everyone was always like, oh, what kind of artist are you going to be, or are you going to be an artist? And it was never a thought in my mind. From as soon as I could think, I was like, I'm going to be an artist. I didn't know what kind, but I was like, this is my passion. I saw how much my dad worked and painted every single day, and I thought it was the best life. Yeah.
Uh-huh. But now you must have had finding your own medium, finding your own voice, finding your own way in. Is that something that just happened kind of organically, or was it ever difficult?
Yeah, I would say it was hard to really figure out what medium I was going to work in. I knew I didn't want to do painting because it was kind of like my dad had already done that pretty well. And then every single person in my family does a different medium. So it was like I didn't want to step on any toes per se. Mm-hmm. But my freshman year of college, I went to California College of the Arts. And
where is that?
Oh, that's up in San Francisco,
okay.
in Oakland.
Okay.
Like a small art school.
Okay.
And my freshman year, my first semester, I took a glass blowing class. And I just was so intrigued by the medium and just found it kind of addicting because it's so challenging that you're just like, I can do it better. So then my second semester I took a sculpture class, and every single project I was like, this would be so much better if it was out of glass. And so it went from there, and I was like,
so you fell in love.
I fell in love. Yeah, I fell in love with glass.
Yeah.
So from there I was fully involved in every way, every kind of glass. Yeah.
So of the glass artists, who do you look at? Who really knocks you out? And
wow, that's hard to say. I mean, well, the best well-known, obviously, is Chihuly.
Yes.
And I really respect his business aspect.
Yes.
And the fact that he got kind of glass in the mainstream media, and the fact that everyone kind of knows his name. And that's amazing, because as an artist, it's so hard to get your name out there. And he kind of works with more of a team versus a solo artist. And then William Morris, who does sculpting glass, mm-hmm. he is also really, really amazing. Mm-hmm. Totally different style. And then I actually interned for a couple of years, totally different, is Annie Morehauser, who has Annie Glass up in Watsonville.
She's really something.
Yeah, she's something, and she's a powerhouse, and she's an amazing businesswoman, and just really took me under her wing. Uh-huh. And so it was cool to have the different aspects. When I was in college, I got to see like the fine arts of our gallery, the Hawthorne Gallery, and then working with Annie Glass and seeing more production line. And so I kind of went a little in between afterwards. And, I do plateware, but it's more custom. Uh-huh. So, and freestanding and wall pieces. But so I'm kind of balancing in between the middle of like everyday person can buy one of my plates versus I also do stuff that goes in a gallery that's more expensive and is more of a special piece for someone's house. So
one of the things that I think that you've grown up on, and I so respect your father for, is really making art. He's a fabulous artist, but he's also a fabulous art business person. I really hate the myth of the starving artist.
Yes.
I don't like the public buying into that, and I don't like the artist buying into that,
mm-hmm.
or any of the romance to that. And sometimes an artist wants to do the work, but doesn't want to. No, I don't want to do the business of that. It's
mm-hmm.
as if it's a bad part of it. And your family has really elevated that to a. Made it work, made it,
mm-hmm.
The Hawthorne Gallery is one of the landmarks of Big Sur.
Mm-hmm.
It's gorgeous. It's a space that everybody, it represents Big Sur very well, you know, and it's, but it's a very good business and thought out. And growing up with the business half of that, that's a real, you know, everybody doesn't get that half of it, and you know, it's probably you're still having to learn parts of that, but it's really important.
Yes, yeah. So there's so many artists that don't succeed, and that's because the business side, or you know, that's a huge element. And so my dad is an amazing business person along with being a really great artist, and so I saw growing up that it was kind of hand in hand. And if you're really going to succeed as being an artist, you also have to be able to sell your work, which is a huge aspect. And that's, I mean, that's why people take their stuff to galleries, is because they don't want to be a part of selling it. And so, I work at our gallery a few days a week, just to be part of the business side too, and to talk to people that are actually interested in art. And it kind of really stimulates me, so then when I get back in the studio, I have energy to make new, exciting work, versus just working in my studio every day. I feel like I need the human interaction along with it. But
you need, and it's nice being in the art conversation every day.
Yes, definitely. And you also, my dad taught me that, like, you love your work, you make the best work you can, but it's also, you sell the work. And there's so many different artists that are so afraid to sell their work because it's their babies, and you know, they love them. But it's like, at a certain point, if you want to succeed and be a full-time working artist, you have to sell work. So that's a huge part that I feel like a lot of artists kind of.
And I think so interacting with the public as well, you know, because a lot of artists don't interact. You see what people respond to, what they don't respond to. Doesn't necessarily mean that you cater to what people like, because that's a trap as well.
Yes.
You know, so and it can be a deadly trap.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I'm going to paint the blue one again.
Totally.
But on the other hand, you do have you get an overall sense of, oh, I see this kind of thing people work at, and this maybe is too much of this is my kind of a statement that I'm working on about me that maybe doesn't translate to an audience, and you know, I'm sure you have that dynamic playing in your senses all the time.
Yeah. So no, it's funny going to art school. That's all about concept, and you know, it's really, you're kind of showing your heart and soul in that aspect. And then when you get out in the real world, you realize that it's good to show your heart and soul, but it's also, people want things that are going to look good in their house, which maybe for some artists really doesn't appeal to them. But it's like, you got to kind of have that give and take, where you're making something that you love and you're proud of, but also that other people are going to love and want to have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
now every artist, that's not their priority, or they're not. You know, for many, it is a personal investigation, and you're asking an audience to accept your personal investigation. And if your personal investigation is worthy of that, you know, that's great.
Yeah.
And there's many artists like that.
Definitely.
But you know, I've also seen within your father's work and within your work, there's a strong design element.
Yes.
You know, and art's a funny thing. It's you know, people have very strong opinions. It's this or it's that. It can't be this and that, or this or that, or this is the wrong part of it, and this is the right. You know, it's a many. It's a many thing, you know, it's a many-headed thing. And, you know, I love art with design, you know, and that's kind of a bit of the Hawthorne brand. Yeah,
we're definitely into design, and obviously contemporary based. And, you know, some people come into our gallery and they like more classical, and it's not going to appeal to them. But we're going for super kind of hard lines, you know, more of design element to our artwork. And we pick kind of artists that fit that.
Well, I love how nicely your father's work looks with Albert Paley's work. Albert Paley, for the audience doesn't know, is a sculptor who lives part-time in Carmel, does monumental sculpture, and his studios are in New York. So we're lucky to have him. He's you know, a very much of a national, international figure here.
Yeah, he's kind of world renowned.
And quite an amazing artist, and
he's very talented.
So you're lucky to be soaking up that all the time too.
Yeah. No, that's amazing to have that kind of the forged steel with my dad's bright colored paintings, and then like my uncle does blown glass, which is totally different than my glass. So, and then my other uncle does wood carving. So it's like we kind of all play off each other. We have like 22 different artists shown in the gallery, so it's a nice mix of different mediums, and it's really inspiring to when I work at the gallery and our artist brings in some new work. It's like, wow, that's really cool. Oh, I need to start making something like, I'm not like copying, but you know what I mean.
But a good artist steals. Yeah. You're always, and stealing is good because makes you look. When I look at a piece and I'm painting, I'm really looking because I want to see what they've done. How did they do it? Break it down. Demystify it and see, wow, why does that work? Why doesn't that work? And what's in it for me? How can I take those ideas because we always want to grow. We always want to surprise ourselves. At the end of the day, when you sit down and you're making glass, you want to knock yourself out.
Yeah, definitely.
You want to see something new, and you're always taking a new idea and expanding.
Yeah, well, and that's part of the thing of being in a family full of artists is, like, my brother and I work in the same studio together in Sand City. He has a metal shop on the first floor, and then my glass studio's upstairs. And so when I'm making something and I'm really excited about it, like, I bring him upstairs and I'm like, check out what I'm working on and stuff like that. And it's really nice to be able, then he critiques me, and it's all in good fun, but it's nice to have someone to bounce off.
It's nice to have someone honest, first of all, who
very
will say,
honest.
I don't, that's good, that's not so good. That's really, it's a hard world. It takes, if you're not working as hard as you can, somebody else is working harder.
Definitely, yeah. I think that's another myth of being an artist is, I'm going to like relax and paint when I want.
Wait for the inspiration.
Yeah, or wait for the inspiration. It's like, no, you got to get in your studio, and even when things aren't coming, maybe start making something and things will start.
Yeah, you make your body do the thing and then something happens.
Exactly.
But it's good to understand that because some people don't. It's
Yeah. Well, that's part of the thing. I'm trying to make a living being an artist, and so it's like I got to get in the studio and work, and then also I do a lot of commission-based stuff, and so I'm working with different people, especially like for plateware, where they tell me a certain color, and maybe I'll make a full set where every plate's different, but it has a sole theme, which is like really special for that person. But then, I have to come up with these little art pieces that then they get to take home and eat off of. So it's a fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you have a studio in Sand City. Let's talk about living in Sand City a bit and having there. What's that experience like?
So I actually don't live in Sand City.
No, but your studio's there.
My studio's there. So I love Sand City. I mean, I could not imagine living or having my studio anywhere else in Monterey County because they're just so supportive of the arts. They actually, we have a metal shop. We can make loud noise. Like, what a concept. But, and everyone around us on the street is doing cool projects or whatever. And it's such a small community that, I'll walk my dog and go and talk to the person down the street that's making, a huge installation and go have a conversation. So it has such a friendly vibe, but also the city is so far behind us. We can do different projects or present different things, and they're willing to listen and kind of go out of the box of a normal city, I think, because it's so small and just they want to support the arts.
Well, you have the big box taxed base,
yes,
so you can have the luxury of art.
Yeah.
And art brings a lot to a community. It brings a lot to a region. It's again, I look at some place like Carmel that's been trading on the name of artists for years and years, and this historical art past. Yeah. But there's no room for art.
No room for art. No room for music. No room for any of that.
Right.
Versus Sand City, they want that.
So it's and that's not a slight on Carmel. It's just that's where they are in their development.
Yeah.
And Sand City has the opportunity to become this. First of all, I think it has an opportunity to become, national and international kind of idea. Really, and as an artist, you don't want to be parochial. So you want the world coming to your space. It's like, why does something happen in Austin? Why does something happen in Chapel Hill? Why does something happen in Seattle? How do these art things, Santa Fe? How do these things pop up? Well, they don't necessarily pop up by accident. They pop up by people getting together and saying, let's make this great. Let's support this. Let's really consciously make this effort to brand ourselves in this way, because artists need both artists in the neighborhood and artists from the outside coming in to, first of all, to grow.
Yeah.
You've got to know the lay of the land and the level of what you're trying to achieve.
Exactly. But yeah, Sand City is kind of, I feel like, the Brooklyn of this area, of the fact that all the artists are going there, and it's getting a name for being kind of a creative spot. And as you say, we have a good tax base, so we can, they can put a little money towards creative acts, and I'm part of the arts committee, and that's our whole kind of goal, is to bring art more to the front of kind of the city, and maybe do more installations sculpture-wise, or we want to do some murals, and kind of make it a cool spot that people want to come and check out all the cool art around, and have more open studios, and make it a spot that is really a desirable spot for maybe even tourists to see all the amazing art that's in our community. So, I mean, there's such a good opportunity for so much there. So, yeah, we're really excited.
Yeah. Oh, we had a conversation yesterday about coming in and doing some live broadcasting for West End, and interviewing the artists and disseminating the information. And I'm kind of finding out that I love to get in there more with the cameras and disseminate the conversation out, and really get involved, because I think it's an exciting place.
No, it's just at the beginning. So
it's just at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it feels so doable. And I love the mayor. And,
the mayor is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I feel like I'm excited just because it's the beginning of something really, really great. And it takes energy and time, and that's what we're going to put into it. So
well, anyway, it's been a pleasure. I'm with Shelby Hawthorne. This is Mark Baer. You're watching the YourTown television program, and we'll be back momentarily.